let's go ahead and get started with pesticide management. All right. So pesticide applications, it's that time of year. I don't know, man, as beautiful of a day as it was today. I was doing a good thing, recruiting people into the industry today, but every time we went outside, I wanted to be behind a fertilizer spreader, believe it or not. It's one of those fun things to do. And, with pesticide applications, it is a very lucrative part of our business. And I don't know if you guys have taken calculating your turfgrass program with me, but we talk about the amount of money that you can make, and figuring out the expenses that you're going to have and basing it off a number of yards, how much money you could actually make. So it is very fun and it is very profitable, but it probably poses one of the greatest risks and liability to our business. And why is that? What do you think it would be, risky part of our business?
You run off or getting an accidental contamination of somebody else's yard.
Yeah. I mean, just think about that. Yes, you could have a spill that gets into somebody else's property. You have a spill that gets into the curb and gutter. Next thing you know, it's in the creek, and then law enforcement's there, the fire department's there, everybody's there. So it can be risky and it can cost you a lot of money. Now, if we're the ones out there doing it, it's probably not going to happen, but it's very possible it can happen with one of our employees. And so I love seeing our guys go and get certified. Now, they don't necessarily have to have the license, but I want our technicians that are out there applying these fertilizers and pesticides to at least go through North Carolina Department of Ag, the pesticide school. They need to do that before I want them working on our customers' properties. And so that helps reduce your risk by them getting the training that they need. All right. And so with pesticide regulations, FIFRA, the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, amended in 1972 to initiate a program to certify individuals who do apply pesticides. And that came about for us to go and get certified and then get our license. It also covers general use pesticide, restricted use pesticides, and I always start, with this at the college, telling students, your general use pesticides is pretty much, a homeowner can get. They can actually purchase it. They're going to sell it at the big box stores. They can, go and actually, probably purchase it at John Deere Landscapes. They're not going to turn them away. But with restricted use pesticides, what do you have to purchase them?
Got to have a license.
Got to have that license. Yes. Yeah. Homeowners can't go and purchase them. They can't do it. They're going to have to hire us to do that for them. And then also with the federal government granted regulatory primacy to the states. And so that's why we have North Carolina Department of Ag. That's who we report to. That's who grants us our license and, deems it necessary for us to go through the pesticide school and get our 10 hours of CEUs in our certification period. So very, very good programs there. In 88, there were some amendments. This brought about the worker protection standard, the WPS, because a lot of migrant workers were getting sick, and we needed to take care of that. A lot of these individuals were returning to the fields shortly after an application and were getting sick. Also, the right to know legislation, the SARA, the Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act, and the requirement of the MSDS sheets, material safety data sheets. And it requires us to maintain inventory. How many of you guys know right offhand how much pesticides you have in your storage facilities right now? Are you able to pinpoint exactly what you got?
On the list.
Hopefully it's zero. Man, you're out there spraying it every day. You got zero inventory right now. But, we should know, kind of how much we've got. And what's the best way to actually control that? Buying what you need for, for the next short time, whether you're buying it for the month, whether you're buying it for the next couple of weeks, only keep it on hand what you actually need to have. You don't want to keep a bunch in storage. You don't want the chance of theft or to lose it in a fire or anything like that. So best way to do it is buy what you need, make the applications, and then get new. Now let's start with these pesticide labels. The label, it's that written or printed graphic material on the containers that we purchase. And so what's the difference between labeling and labels?
Labels.
Labels just identifies what it is, and labeling tells you how to use it and what the problems might be with it.
Yeah, the label will tell that too, but which is part of which? Is the label a part of labeling, or is the labeling a part of the label?
I think labeling is part of the label. Might be the other way around though.
Yeah. So think about that. I always say the label is the stuff that's printed on the container. Like we pick up that 2.5 gallon jug of the pesticide we're purchasing, that little book that's glued to it, that I need these little guys to read it, even a big magnifying glass sometimes.
Yeah.
But what's on the container is the label. Now, the label can also be printed off the internet. Where else can we get labels? From our vendors. When we purchase it, hey, you got one, you can, give us a little bit bigger one that we can keep. So you can print it off the internet, get it from the your dealer there. When you go to trade shows, you can get copies of these labels from the vendors that are there. So it's good to keep these in a nice little notebook in the truck of what it is that you're spraying. But the pesticide label constitute a legal and binding contract. It is a contract between the applicator and the chemical company prohibiting the use of the pesticide in any application or procedure not consistent with the label. And so, how many of you read that pesticide label right before you apply it? You're going to be, we're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get pulled over by, an inspection agent, and they're like, what are you spraying? And they start asking questions. You need to know that stuff. Me and Matt Martin, I don't know if you guys know Matt Martin. He's the grass factor on YouTube. We always joke around about reading pesticide labels, and we do. I catch myself searching for a pesticide, looking at it and finding it on my phone. I get, 5 minutes here and there. I'm going to spend it researching what we're going to be applying here in the next, few days. It's hard to remember year to year. And so you're not spraying the same stuff each application. You need to study up on it. All right, here's some comparisons of formulations used in landscape management. We got our wettable powders. We got our dry flowables or water dispersible granulars, very popular in lawn care. And then you got our liquid formulations, the emulsifiable concentrates, ECs, or your flowables. And then we got our dry formulations, your dust or granulars and pellets. Now, the way I like to do our lawn care program is I want to push my food out. If I'm doing a fertility app, I want to push it. If I'm taking care of weeds or insects, we're probably going to spray it. I'm just a big proponent of that. And that can be done with a nice spreader, $300 spreader from like Lesco or, the John Deere landscapes now, but then a backpack sprayer. I love using a backpack sprayer. Why? Why do I want to use a backpack sprayer?
Less overspray.
Less overspray. Exactly. And if I'm reading the label like I'm supposed to, and I remember being told this in college, long time ago by Dr. Ware. She's like, Eric, we're stewards of the land. What do you think that means? Being a steward of the land. We're a horticulture professional. We're a turf grass professional. We're supposed to take care of the environment. And do you think everybody that's out there spraying pesticides every day, do you think they're doing the right thing?
No.
They're not, are they? They're not. Why do you think people don't read the label?
Too much time involved.
It does take some time, but
For training. No training.
no training. But think about it. If you're applying the incorrect amount of pesticide, what do you think's happening? For one, you're not being that steward of the land. You're not taking care of the environment.
Throwing away money.
It costs what?
Costs money.
It costs money. And do you think it costs, now this is kind of a question for thought. Do you think it costs you more money to spray too much pesticide or too little of a pesticide?
Little.
Why is that?
Go
Who said
either
little?
way.
Too
It can go
little.
either way, can't it? Basically,
But you got to go back and redo it.
going back that second time. So you under calculate the pesticide amount that you need. Your customer gets mad at you. They call back and say, look, hey, we paid for this application. We still see the pest. So you're going to go back, or you're going to send your technician back. What do you think is going to happen there?
They're mad they got to go back.
They're dumping a little bit more in there. They're like, I'll take care of it this time.
I'll show that guy.
Yeah. And so they've got way more than they need on that second application that they had to do for free. And they've put way too much out, not being stewards of the land. So take the time to read the label, take the time to calibrate your sprayers, and do the right thing. Do the right thing. But on this label, you're going to see the product name or the trade name. You know, trade name, you know, pretty much what we're all used to seeing. It's the commercials. It's the nice packaging that we see. It's going to list your active ingredient. It's going to tell you the type of formulation. And a lot of times the type of formulation will be seen in the name of the pesticide. It's going to tell us the type, whether it's a fungicide, insecticide, herbicide, or plant growth regulator. It's going to give us the official common name if it's been approved by the EPA. A lot of times, you know, it may not be. And the only times we'll use a common name if that chemical name is just way too long. And so they'll try to get it abbreviated, but it does have to be approved by the EPA. Then we'll see the chemical name, then the inert ingredients that is made up in it. And if there's any surfactants or wetting agents that we can use with it, or if it's even in it. Then we're going to talk the signal words that are going to be on there. And so what are our signal words off top? Does anybody know what they are?
Warning,
Warning,
caution,
caution, danger. And then that other one. There's one more. What is it? It's with the danger. Danger. Man, y'all made me forget. Well, you know, like we got the caution. We've got warning, caution, danger. And then, well, there's one that's got the, which one has the skull and crossbones?
That'd be restricted use.
Danger, poison.
Danger, poison. That's right. Thank you, Mr. Few. But that'll have the skull and crossbones. But yeah, not every restricted use pesticide necessarily will be, you know, danger, you know, a danger pesticide. You know, there's some that are warnings that you can get. It's also going to talk about the toxicity, whether it is, you know, lethal dose 50 or lethal concentrate 50, you know, and that's basically the lethal dose, what it takes to kill 50% of the population. It's going to talk about routes of exposure. What's going to happen if it's, you know, dermal exposure, oral, inhalation, and then the toxicity if it is inhalation. It's going to talk about the adjuvants that we can use. Substances that are added to a pesticide formulation or spray solution to enhance the effectiveness. We can use it to improve the wetting ability of the spray solution. We can use it to control the evaporation of spray droplets. We can improve the pesticide persistence. We can increase the foliar or insect uptake or intake. We can adjust the pH of the spray solution. Improve our droplet coverage, increase the safety of the spray to non-target plants or pests, and then the correct any spray tank incompatibility problems, and then maybe help reduce some drift, and then mark our spray patterns, dyes or colorants. I don't like using much of that unless it's, you know, huge shrub beds or something, but I don't like seeing blue dye on our customers' sidewalks and driveways. And then pesticide equipment. Talk about this all the time with the students at the college. This right here, well, these three things right here. What's going on? What are you able to do? Go in business. Go in business. And guys, I've been doing this, several years, applying pesticide applications. And this, the Solo backpack and the Let's Go fertilizer are my two favorite pieces of equipment. For one, I can put the food out quick, and then I can go back and only spot spray the areas that's needed. I don't like mixing chemicals in a big spray tank. I know some of you guys that's taken my classes before. Why do I not like mixing my fertility with like my broadleaf herbicide or my pre-emergent?
Chemical crossover.
Well, yeah, the incompatibility. But what was that word that I said a few minutes ago, or that phrase that I said a while ago? Steward of the land.
With
I
a,
like
like
protecting.
a tank sprayer, you're hitting a bigger area and you could have more inconsistency or putting too much product on the ground.
Putting too much product out where it's not needed. Let's say
Can't
I'm
be
doing
as precise as you can with a backpack.
Yeah, exactly. And if you mix everything in one tank and you're going ahead and putting your broadleaf herbicide in there, what if you get to a property that doesn't have any broadleaf herbicide? That doesn't have any broadleaf weeds.
Right.
You're putting a pesticide out where it is not needed. And not only are you not being a steward of the land, it's against the law because you're not supposed to put a pesticide down where it's not needed, and it's costing you money. And a lot of the big lawn care companies that I've talked to in the past, they're like, well, it's a lot easier for us to mix everything in the tank and just have our applicator walk the ground one time. I'm like, no, I don't see that being such an issue. If I'm going to push my fertility app out and then go back and grab my backpack, I think I can still get done pretty quick and actually save the money in the chemical instead of broadcasting the entire property that doesn't need it. It doesn't need it.
Why not just skip those areas if it doesn't need it? If you're still using a tank sprayer.
But if you're putting your fertility, if you're mixing your fertilizer in with it.
I see. Okay.
And so, yeah, like if you can spot spray with a tank sprayer if you're only making an application for broadleaf weeds. But if you're mixing your food in there with it, and you're mixing your pre-emergent, with it as well, you'd have to do a broadcast application to get your pre-em down or to get your fertility out. All right, here's some more examples of just equipment that we use. I know a lot of people are using a lot of the electric backpacks, and that's good because it keeps the PSI, at the same level. You don't have to worry about that. For larger applications, using, lawn tractors or whatever, it's good for it. Side farms, even in ag, using a big, sprayer like this. This is really where calibration comes in to, very, very important. Having one of these nozzles not matching its brothers and sisters on there could be very detrimental to your crop. One of these little guys right here, your Ride On Ultras, super nice. I know there's several models out there, but these are good to have. The good thing with this, what can you do simultaneously with this? We kind of talked about it. If you're pushing your fertility out, you're kind of doing it here with a hopper, and then you've got the spray. What's the cool thing about actually doing all this at the same? You can put your food out, and then you can spot spray with your sprayer with the booms right down here. It's a very, very good, useful tool, and it fits on the back of one of the receiver hitches. You can drive it up on the little ramp that goes into the receiver hitch. I don't use much drop spreaders. Don't really care for them. And then, using the handheld Solo here for putting out like pre-emergent and shrub beds. And so calibration, one of the most important things that we should do that we're probably not doing enough. When should we calibrate our equipment?
Before the season starts, before you start spraying.
Exactly. Yes. The first time when we get ready for it. And I know a lot of people's already spraying and stuff, so they've already done it. But when else should we do it?
After lunch.
After lunch. Why is that, Chris?
You're a little tireder after lunch. You're not moving as fast.
Exactly. And why should that be? Why could that be a problem?
If you're moving too slow, you're putting out too much product.
Yeah. You're doubling your application rate when you slow down. And so, yeah, at 8 o'clock, you do what?
It could damage the grass too.
Exactly.
Overspray on.
Yes. So 8 o'clock in the morning, you're fresh. You know, you're ready to get out there. You're humping it. What's the average miles per hour that we walk?
3.
Yeah, 2 to 3, you know, just depending on how tall or short we are. So, yeah, you might be, you know, walking 2.5 miles an hour, 8 o'clock. Like Chris said, you eat a heavy lunch, it gets a little hot. You might slow down 0.5 mile an hour. And then you're putting out more product than needed. So, yeah. Is it easy to calibrate your equipment twice a day? It's going to be a little tough, right? You know, and I would hate to pull up to one of our job sites and see one of our technicians calibrating equipment there on our customer's property. I would want them to come back to the shop or, you know, have them do something else in the afternoon. I'd actually like to see the math involved with that and how much more product they're putting out and how much more money it's costing you without them recalibrating. Because it's going to get worse as the season moves on and the temperatures get up. But with calibration, we need 2 pieces of information. We need our sprayer output and we need our coverage. And so we need to get our fluid ounces per minute. And to do this, we need a stopwatch. We need a container to catch the liquid. And then we need an accurate measuring device. And so basically right there, what we got, stopwatch, calculator, one of these measuring cups, and they're catching it in a 5-gallon bucket. And so with our sprayer output, use the sprayer with the nozzles that will be used in the application. You got to use the exact same ones. You're going to perform the same operating parameters. You need pressure, speed, and terrain. We need to have that same pressure. We need to use the same piece of equipment that's going to be, you know, going the same speed.
Right.
Terrain. Why is that important? Think about it if you're pushing it too, or if you're walking the property. If you're calibrating on flat ground at the shop before you go out and you got some customers that's got some, you know, slopes like this, what's our technicians doing?
Slow.
They're going slower. They're going to be putting out more. They're putting out a higher rate than needed or than what was calibrated that morning on flat ground. So you may want to have it where you're, you line all your steep yards up, you know, the same day or the same crew that's able to do that. And you got to measure all your nozzles and then replace the worn and incorrect nozzles. You'll operate the sprayer in a stationary position, you know, for around a minute, collect the output in the containers, measure the output in a measuring container, and then repeat 2 more times. You want to take an average of 3 times for your ounces per minute. And so let's say we got a 5 nozzle boom sprayer that was collected for 10 seconds. And then here out of one of our textbooks, we got a table. It says output determination of the boom sprayer and the calibration example. We've got a 5 nozzle sprayer. We had an average. Well, we did one for 13 seconds. We did one for 12, and one for 12. Basically, we're multiplying this. So 5 times 13 is our 78. Well, that should be a little bit. 5 times 13 is the. That's not. What is 5 times? Doing the math. I did that a while ago.
65.
6 to
It's
5.
65. So it's a little bit that's a little bit wrong. So if we're looking at it right here, we're multiplying not by the 5, we're multiplying the 13 times what? We're doing ounces per 10 seconds. We're trying to figure out ounces per minute. So what math are we using right here? This is it's a little trick question.
Yeah, you multiply 6 times 13.
Exactly. Because where do we get that 6 from?
It's 10 divided into 60 is 6.
Exactly. 10 seconds into a minute or 60 seconds, we get that. So 6 times 13 is what? The 78.
78.
6 times the 12 is 72. And then 6 times 12 is 72. Average these three together, and we've got ounces per minute of 74. All right. And then all of these nozzles, if you looked at each one of them on the 5-nozzle sprayer, we've got a total output of 364 ounces per minute. All right. And so to convert ounces per minute to gallons per acre or gallons per minute, we do OPM divided by 128. What is 128?
How many ounces are in a gallon?
Ounces in a gallon. So we got ounces per minute divided by 128 equals the gallons per minute. So we have 364 ounces per minute right here. Back to that original slide. Divided by the 128, we've got 2.8 gallons per minute. And so our coverage, the amount of time that it takes to spray a given area, expressed as minutes per acre. Landscape professionals, and especially in the turf grass, we're used to working in, per 1,000 square feet. So we could actually use the minutes divided by M. So M is the Roman numeral for 1,000. So minutes per 1,000 square feet. And then for our coverage and actually testing it out, we've got to mark off a 100-foot straight line. We're going to run our sprayer 3 times the 100-foot distance. We've got 3 runs. First one for 89. Second one was 90. Third one was 91. This is our seconds to travel the 100 feet. And so we take our 270 divided by 3 equals 90. So we got 90 seconds per 100 feet of run. And so then we're going to calculate our effective spray width. We've got the 5-nozzle boom sprayer. It has a spray width of 10 feet. And we know that it takes 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds to cover the 100 linear feet. So to determine our coverage, we multiply linear feet traveled by our effective spray width. So 100 times 10 equals 1,000 square feet that is covered in a minute and a half. Minutes per 1,000 is our 1.5. So to determine minutes per acre, multiply the minutes per 1,000 by 43.56 equals 65.35 minutes per acre. The output in ounces per minute or gallons per minute and the coverage in minutes per 1,000 or minutes per acre are multiplied to obtain the amount of water applied per unit area. And so for our example, our ounces per 1,000 square feet is the 364 times the 1.5 gives us our 546. To get our gallons per acre, the 2.84 multiplied by the 65.34 minutes per acre, 185.56. So our sprayer will deliver 546 ounces per minute or 185.56 gallons per acre. So some good math. And we're going to see a few more problems just like that here in a second. And then looking at our granule spreaders, when we're calibrating those, and this is fun to do. This actually, well, I'm a nerd, so I like doing this stuff. But you take a row of boxes is the easiest thing to do. And you line them up. And I do like 9 across. And we're looking for that one in the middle. And so I'm going to push my spreader. I'm going to drive over the boxes, drive back around, hit it again, drive back over, hit it again. And I'm looking to see what's in that middle jar or box. And then I'm going to look over to where it's half of what's in the middle one. And that's going to give me my swath width. And so when you're calibrating your spreader, what do you have to use in the spreader to calibrate it? Your product. When we're calibrating our sprayers, we can just use water, but we actually have to use our product. So we need to do it somewhere that we can sweep it up, you know, or at least collect it and get it up. You don't want it all over your driveway and stuff. You want to be able to sweep it up and not have it blown into the yard or whatever. So you got to use your product. So we're going to make those 3 passes over the box. We're going to record the weight or pour into jars marked with the box number. And then you're going to see where it does taper off and find the jars on both sides that have half the product of your middle jar. And the easiest thing to do is look at this diagram right here. So we've made our 3 passes, and then number 5 is in the middle. We can see where it's at, and then we're going to see where it tapers off to. And it looks like jar number 2 and jar number 8. And these are, 2 feet apart. So 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. We got a 12-foot swath width for that spreader. And so you can do the before and after weight. Step 1, weigh out enough product to load the spreader for a calibration test over a distance that can be converted to 1,000 square feet. This is right out of, applying pesticides correctly, table 10 through 3. And we had a swath width of that spreader at 12 feet. So our test course length needs to be 84 feet. So we select the testing setting to deliver 1/2 the labeled rate. Note the spreader settings are not linear, so using a number half, the number recommended on the product label will not result in half the application rate. You need to experiment first. 3, you apply the material over the measured distance and weigh the product remaining in the spreader, and the difference in pounds should be within 10% of 1/2 the pesticide label rate. You'll adjust your size of the gate opening so your application rate is in that right range. And so for this, we're going to calibrate a rotary spreader to apply a turf herbicide using 2 passes over the treatment site. We got a label rate, 80 pounds per acre. So we've read our label. We've done that the night before. We've seen what we've got to do. We know our swath width to be 12 feet. We know our calibration course is 84 feet. Our beginning weight of product is 908 grams, roughly 2 pounds. The end weight of the product, 426 grams. So the difference, 482 grams or 1.06 pounds. So this is the 482 grams divided by the 454 grams, 1 pound. The spreader is calibrated to apply 1.06 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So your rate per acre, the rate is equivalent to rate per 1,000 times the 4356 or 1.06 pounds times 4356. And that's going to give us 46.2 pounds per acre. This rate is higher than the rate needed of 4 pounds per acre, 1/2 of the 80. Adjust the spreader by reducing the gate until it falls within the 10% of the 40 pounds, which is between the 36 and 44. So we're taking 10% of the 40, which is 4. 40 minus 4 is 36, and 40 plus the 4 is 44 pounds. And so we were at 46.2. So we got to reduce the gate opening until it falls within that. So some good stuff. And you might think that this does take quite a bit of time if you did this every single morning, but it needs to happen. And which piece of equipment do you think gets out of calibration the quickest? Is it a sprayer? Is it a handheld sprayer? Is it a wand that's attached to the big tanks? Or is it our push spreader?
Probably a push spreader.
Yes, it does. And why is that? Because we throw it in the back of the truck a lot of the times. It's bouncing around. We're going over speed bumps, railroad tracks, everything. It's going to get thrown out of calibration the quickest of anything. And so it needs to be done. I want my guys doing it every single morning before they go out. Take the 15, 20 minutes that it takes to do this and make sure that they leave with calibrated equipment. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people won't do it every single day. All right, so determine the amount of granular insecticide needed to treat 2.5 acres. We got a label rate, 3 pounds per 1,000. We're converting our acres to square feet. So we have 2.5 acres times 43,560 square feet. So we got 108,900 feet. To get the total amount of product needed, multiply the area by the application rate. So we have 108,900 square feet times 3 per 1,000. That gives us the 326,700 divided by 1,000. We need 326 pounds. So we need what? 7 bags, 6.5 bags almost to do the job. Cool stuff. Measuring these crazy yards. You ever seen it? You ever had to do this? I hate doing it. There's a lot of tools out there to help us do this now, right?
Yeah.
You seen the measuring wheel that you can attach to your phone, and it'll actually draw it. You go around the edge and it'll click on it. It tells you exactly how many square feet in it. Really, really cool. Another feature I like using is our Forsyth County geodata. I can click on somebody's yard and actually trace it, and it's going to tell me our square feet. And it's pretty darn close because I've went and measured some of our properties and then came back to the office and did that. It works. It really works. But doing these, the line offset method, you got a straight line cutting through the middle, and then you're drawing these lines all through it. So you're measuring the distance, and then you're going to take the average. Remember, A and B is 0 because it's not going anywhere. But C is 10 feet long, D is 12, E is 11, F is 10, G is 9, H 7, I is 10, J and K are both 12. And so the sum of the offsets is 93. And then it is multiplying it by the 3. The sum of offsets times the distance between the offsets, we have 279 square feet in this little weird kidney bean shaped backyard. And so before we jump into some of our math, I want to look at this. I learned this from Dr. Reynolds State. And you've probably seen this problem with me if you've taken a class. So we're going to look at it really, really quick. We're not going to talk about the beverages on this. We're just going to talk about the barricade. But this is a typical problem that we would see when trying to figure out our product. And I like knowing how much I'm going to need per 1,000 square feet of product. I know we're talking about an 8,000 square foot lawn here, but I want to know how much product I'm going to be putting out per 1,000 square feet. And so it's best to do this at the beginning of each year. And when you figure out how many 1,000 square feet that you have in each customer's lawn, you can go ahead and get your product for each round very quickly. So how much would an application of Barricade 65 WDG cost for an 8,000 square foot home loan if the label rate is 1 pound active ingredient per acre and the Barricade 65 WDG is $39.95 per pound? First of all, what does WDG stand for? It's a formulation. Water what? Water dispersible granulars. Some good stuff. So how much would an application of the granular combination product cost for the same loan at the same rate? So we're looking at both of those products. So when using dry formulations, remember the number on the label refers to the percent active ingredient by weight. Example, the Barricade 65 WDG is 65% by weight prodiamine active ingredient. So if we have 100 pounds of it, that 100 pounds is going to contain 65 pounds of prodiamine, the active ingredient. 1 pound of Barricade contains 0.65 pounds of prodiamine. When using liquid formulations, the number on the label refers to pounds of active ingredient per gallon of product. Our example, Barricade 4FL has 4 pounds prodiamine active ingredient per gallon of product. And so if we're buying it in a 2.5 gallon jug, we're going to have 10 pounds. 4 pounds active ingredient per gallon times the 2.5, we have 10 pounds. And we get this by using dimensional analysis. Start with what we have, working our way through to get what we want. And so let's figure this problem. We have an 8,000 square foot lawn. That's what we're starting with. And we're wanting to get our cost right here. How much is it going to cost in product to do this yard? Not our labor or anything like that or overhead. What is our product cost? We can do that really, really quick. 8,000 square feet. And we set it up just like this. We set up a math problem just like this. So 8,000 square feet, 1 acre over 43,560. 1 pound active ingredient per acre. 1 pound of Barricade is 0.65 pounds per acre. And it is $39.95 per 1 pound Barricade. So what are we doing here? We're actually taking this. We're going to cross out our square feet, crossing out our acre. We're crossing out 1 pound active ingredient, 1 pound barricade, 1 pound barricade. And then we multiply across. And so 8,000 times 1 times 1 times 1 times $39.95. We have 319,600. 43,560 times 1 times 0.65 times 1 is 28,314. Divide this into here, and we have $11.28. So the 8,000 square foot loan total product cost is $11.28. You know what it is you're spending in product? You guys should already know what your overhead is, running your business, how much it costs you per hour. We can come up with our application rate pretty darn quick with that. And that's for 8,000 square feet. I would even like to see it what it is per 1,000 square foot. Divide that by 8. How much product am I putting out per 1,000 square feet? So, good stuff. I love that. So let's look at some of these problems right here. So if you guys got some scratch paper, go ahead and grab it really, really quick. And we'll try to get through these as painless as possible. But you got to look at this as actually fun stuff. We got a product label that prescribes 2 pounds per acre. How much is needed for a 4,800 square foot lawn? Remember that the 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. We're putting out 2 pounds per acre. How much is needed for a 48 square foot lawn? It's very, very little. Very little. But if we set it up in dimensional analysis, I'm going to draw a line. Let's see, where'd my marker go? I'm going to draw me a line across like that. We'll set up my math problem. So we got 4,800. Remember, we're starting with what we have. We have a 4,800 square foot lawn. We're wanting to know how much is needed for it. So 4,800 square foot lawn. And we know that, oh my gosh, let me get these glasses here. Oh, okay. And so we got our 1 acre over our 43,560, and then 2 pounds per acre. This was square feet. That was square feet. So we're crossing out our, and we're left with pounds. So if we multiply that out, 4,800 times 2 divided by 43,560. What are y'all getting?
0.22.
0.22.
Yeah, very small amount. Very small amount. And so, yeah, we may not see, a problem that small, or we're trying to dip it out with a little spoon or whatever. But you get the point. It's all about setting it up in this dimensional analysis. So what about this? Product label says to use 3 ounces per 1,000 square feet. How much product will you need for the 4,800 square foot lawn? We're using 3 ounces per 1,000. So again,
4.8 times 3.
uh-oh, hang on. Trying to draw that again. So we got our 48. Got our 4,800 square feet. We're putting out 3 ounces per 1,000. Basically, that's all we need. So 48 times 3. What are we getting?
17.4. Wait a minute.
Close. 14.4.
14. Okay.
Yeah, the 4,800 times 3 is 14,400 divided by 1,000.
14.4.
To 14.4 ounces. We're left with the ounces. Cool.
Yeah, I got it. 14.4.
Question 3, you need to spread a crabgrass herbicide over 2,400 square foot area, and you purchased a 25 pound bag of the herbicide. The label states that the contents of the bag, sorry for the typo, bag, will cover 5,000 square feet. How much of the bag will be needed?
Nope. What are they arguing about? Hey, do I just click on that and delete? Get it off of there.
We got 2,400 square foot area.
I'm going to send the computer back.
That's
so I wanna
always
get
the
off
first thing
as
we're
much
going
as
to
I
set
can.
up.
Yeah. Hold on. You want all of them?
Yeah, because I got to get out of it. I mean, I don't want them to be able to log into anything I have.
One bag's going to do 5,000. Remember, that's square feet. This is square feet.
I need to get that off. We'll do it after I eat.
I don't. Why does it matter?
Well, that doesn't have to. I want this on there though. Can you set that up for me tomorrow? Okay, thanks.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, right after. No. Yeah, can you bring me one of those Powerade things I drink, please?
All right, I muted everybody. When you get to answer, we'll talk about it. All right, we got one bag over 5,000 square feet, and then we bought a 25 pound bag. Crosses out, crosses out, crosses out. We're left with how much of the bag will be needed. So 2,400 times 1 times 25 divided by 5,000 gives us roughly what?
12 pounds.
12 pounds. Yeah. Cool. Question 4, you need to apply a grub control insecticide over 4,800 square feet. The label instructions say to apply 1 gallon of water and 4 teaspoons of insecticide for each 200 square feet. How much water and how much insecticide is needed? This is cool. I like problems like this because a lot of the times when we're mixing a liquid application, we're forgetting to take in our total solution. Our total solution is made up of what? It's made up of our water and it's made up of our product. And a lot of times when they say, a tank's got 500 gallons of total spray mixture, we're filling it up with 500 gallons of water and then putting in our pesticide. That's the incorrect way to do it. You got to subtract out your water that you're applying, that you're mixing in the pesticide. And so we're going to set it up just like we do. And we have 4,800 square feet. And then 1 gallon 200 square feet. So basically it's two separate problems. So basically we're getting 24, 200 into that. So that's square feet, crosses out, square feet and square feet crosses out again, left with teaspoons. So we need 24 gallons before teaspoons, but we're going to actually just fill up a tank, 23.9 or whatever it is that when you subtract out the 4 teaspoons. So you can't use the complete 24 gallons because if you dump in 4 teaspoons, it kind of dilutes it. So you'd have to put just the shiner. A lot easier to see when we're dealing with bigger numbers. All right, cool deal. I want to skip down. I want to go to this one right here. Determine the amount of granular insecticide needed to treat 4 acres, assuming the label rate of 4 pounds per thousand. A little high, maybe, but let's round to the nearest. So what are we going to start with? 4 acres. Remember, we always start with what we got. Then we know that there's 43,560 in 1 acre. And we're going to put 4 pounds per 1,000 square feet. This is square feet. So cancels out, cancels out, cancels out, cancels out. We're left with the pounds. So we multiply 4 times 43,560 times 4 divided by 1,000. What are we getting?
697.
Yeah. That's what I come up with. So yeah,
Yes, sir.
right at 697. So what are y'all seeing? If we don't calculate this stuff right and manage our pesticides correctly, what are we losing?
Money.
Money. Exactly. And if we went back and we probably looked at some of the past years or whatever, and we started figuring out and really knocking down these numbers, we might like, I actually spent that much money doing it. All right, let's look at 7. How much spray solution will be needed to treat a 9,000 square foot lawn if your sprayer is calibrated to deliver 6 gallons per 1,000? And really, I mean, we could do this basically in our head, but setting it up dimensional analysis. We got 9,000 square feet. We're going to put 6 gallons per 1,000 square feet. Simple one. Crosses out, crosses out. We got 54, was that 54,000 divided by 1,000. So we got 54. Good stuff. Well, let's jump over. I want to skip over 8. I want to do number 9. We've got a 2-part question here. You're spraying a pesticide to a lawn. The total lot size is 1/3 of an acre with a 25 by 43 foot house and a 15 by 40 foot driveway. The label says to apply the pesticide at the rate of 5 fluid ounces per 1,000. How many ounces of formulation will you need for this area? So what's the first thing we got to do? We got to figure out what our actual property size is. We know we're on 1/3 of an acre. How many square feet is that? What is 1/3 of an acre? Square feet.
14,520.
Yeah. Yep. Divided by 3 or multiply it by 0.33. So we got roughly 14,520. But what do we got to do with the house and what do we got to do with the driveway?
Subtract it out.
Subtract it out. So we got a 25 by 45, which, that's 1,075 square foot footprint. And then we got a 600 foot driveway, square feet driveway. Add those 2 out, subtract it from our 14,520. And we've got 12,845 square feet of actual, area needing sprayed. And so we've got that information. Then we're going to set up dimensional analysis. We could have done dimensional analysis that way too. We got our 12, 8, 45. We got 5 over 1,000. So how many ounces we're going to need of product? So 12,845 times 5 divided by 1,000.
64.
Yep. Yeah, like 64.23. Good stuff. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? We are right at the hour, 8 o'clock, just a minute past 8. Kathy Furr, did you join in? I did not see her jump in. She's usually with us every week, so. All right. Mr. Brown, I saw you jump in. I saw your camera on there a minute ago. What's your license number, Mr. Brown?
One second. Let me grab it real fast.
All right. And also for Michael Gibson. Mike's been with us before.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. What's your license number, sir?
I think it's 27833-026.
27 what again? Sorry.
I think it's 27833, I think.
833-026, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then Mr. Brown's getting his. And then, yeah, Kathy didn't join us. So. All right, guys, there's no comments, questions, or concerns. I appreciate it. I'll get these uploaded tonight. Got the roster here. And so you should see it on your license here in the next few days.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Chris, I'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
All right, buddy. Cool
Thanks.
deal. Thanks,
See you.
guys.
Thank you.
Harry,
Yes, sir.
can I shoot that to you tomorrow in an email? I don't have it on me.
Yeah. Oh, is that Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it'll be in the I'll have it in the Zoom when you record it, but that's kind of just the way I do roll. So yeah, that's fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Because I saw your face and stuff. You were there the whole time, so we're good.
Okay. I'll shoot that to you tomorrow in an email, my license number.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Good deal. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Eric.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.